There are a ton of cool and unique characters in Risk of Rain, but the issue is that most of them kind of just suck. Except for one, the False Sun. The False Sun already has the second most base health and the third most base damage in the entire game, but there is one more unique attribute that really sets him apart from the other characters: growth. Growth is the False Sun's passive ability, which allows him to get even stronger the more his health increases. And if paired with the right items, it turns him into an indestructible killing machine that breaks the game. But before we get to that, first we need to unlock him. And to do that, you first have to go to the Gilded Coast by either finding an Altar of Gold and going through the Gold Portal, or by going to the Newt Realm and finding it in the Lunar Seer. Then, you need to kill Aurelionite, pick up the Halcyon Seed, and go through the Green Portal until you get to the Prime Meridian. If you didn't find the Gold Portal before Stage 4, then you're going to have to loop through again, but once you get there, all you have to do is kill the False Sun. Of course, killing the False Sun is easier said than done, because they made that shit impossible.
I died.
Wait, what? No!
Just got comboed.
No! But once you're able to do that, you'll unlock him as a character. The next thing I want to go over before explaining growth is unlocking Stare Them Down and Family Bonding. To unlock Stare Them Down, you have to kill 15 enemies with one use of your laser. And this honestly should just happen naturally if you just loop through at least once and are picking up good damage items and some explosion stuff. But if you are struggling, you can get it done on the first stage if you pick up Swarms, Kin, and Command, farm the beetles for those damage items in Will-O-Wisp, let them group up, and then let her rip. To unlock Family Bonding, you have to take the Halcyon Seed all the way to Mithrix, and then have Aurelionite kill Mithrix while he's inflicted with Lunar Ruin. Like I mentioned before, to get the Halcyon Seed, you have to go to the Gilded Coast and defeat Aurelionite, then go to Mithrix, and after you beat the first 3 stages, Aurelionite will spawn, and you kind of just have to slowly tap your secondary to make sure Mithrix is always inflicted with a stack of Lunar Ruin. Make sure you let Aurelionite get the last hit on Mithrix though, because otherwise you're gonna have to go all the way back and do it again. Surely, right?
That has to be it. Because that time you saw it.
Yeah.
Like...
What? Alright, now the only unlock we have left is to gain up to 40 lunar spikes through growth. So this seems like the perfect time for me to explain how the False Sun's absolutely broken ability works. So, throughout the game, the False Sun, or any character for that matter, gains bonus health. Bonus health is all the permanent health you obtain on top of the health you start with. For example, the False Sun starts with 180 health, and by the end of the first stage in this run, he had 664. So, after doing some first grade math, we can see that he gained 484 bonus health. Now, the more bonus health the False Sun has, the more stacks of Lunar Spikes he gets. Lunar Spikes are his secondary ability, which does 200% damage, and also procs Lunar Ruin, which does an additional 10% damage for each stack. So essentially, the more Lunar Spikes we get, the more damage we do. And if we look at this fancy chart here, we can see that the increase in 484 bonus health gained us 11 additional spikes. But to unlock the protein heavy diet secondary ability, you need to gain 40 Lunar Spikes through growth on top of the 4 you already start out with. So if we look at this other wonderful chart, we can see that we need to gain 10,436 bonus health in order to get 40 stacks of Lunar Spikes. Just a little side note, backup mags, although they can give you an extra secondary use, don't count for this challenge. You can still get them, but it won't affect growth. Also, for every 4 Lunar Spikes you gain through growth, you can get an extra charge of your laser, so that's pretty swag. Anyways, we've got to find a way to gain 10,000 health, and the best way to do that is through items. The 2 most common items that increase your health are the Bison Steak and Infusion. Bison Steak just increases your maximum health by 25, and Infusion increases it by 100, but only by 1 for each kill you get. These are fine at the start, but I would cap the amount of steaks you get to like 5, and I probably wouldn't even pick them up after the first stage, just because once you've gotten the first 5 stacks of Lunar Spikes through growth, you're gonna need a lot more than 25 health to get another stack. Infusion is a little better, but realistically, you probably aren't going to kill more than 1,000 enemies in one run, so I would get like 10 at the very most. Probably less, to be honest. If you find an early gold item, you can get Titanic Neural, but that's only going to increase your health by 40, so really the only way to increase your health fast is by leveling up or getting Stone Flux Pauldron. Stone Flux Pauldron doubles your health but halves your speed, which is pretty fucking convenient considering the False Sun is slow as dirt as it is. So surely he can't get any slower, right? Oh. You can pretty much decide when you want to get Stone Flux Pauldron. The longer you wait to pick it up, the less you will have to get and the faster you will be, but if you just want to get the challenge over with, I guess there's nothing wrong with just clearing out the shop on the first couple stages. But wait, before you get a bunch of Stone Flux Pauldrons, there really is no amount of energy drinks and goat hoofs you can get to cancel out that much of a speed decrease, so you're kind of just stuck running in slow motion forever. Unless you get the Wax Quail, which pretty much negates the speed decrease no matter how many pauldrons you get, meaning you can get as many as you want. I bet you didn't think of that one, Gearbox. It can be kind of annoying to click things and pick up items, but besides that, there really is just no downside to going crazy on the Stone Flux Pauldrons. So now that you're basically invincible and capable of moving, let's get some items to increase your damage. Soldier Syringe is a must get for the Fall Sun, and you should get it as soon as you can. We already run in slow motion, we don't want to hit enemies in slow motion too. Crowbar and Focus Crystals are probably the best damage items you can get at the start, and Watches are maybe even better once you're confident that you won't go below 25% health. Of course, you should always get some crit glasses and pair them with a laser scope, and the new item, Chronic Expansion, is great for temporarily increasing your damage. Of course, you aren't just confined to these items, but they are the ones you should get the most of, especially at the start. Alright, now that you know all the best items for the Fall Sun and have unlocked all of his abilities, what abilities are the best ones to use? For me, I like all 3 of the alternate ones. Stakes are really good for chain effects on group enemies, and its slower cooldown can be made up for by how quick Laser Burst recharges, and Meridian's Will just feels better because it allows for more vertical ability, and being able to quickly get above enemies is really useful early on in your run. However, his original abilities are almost just as good, so if you prefer one of them over an alternate one, you should just stick with that. And that's pretty much it. If you have any more questions about the Fall Sun, or if I missed anything, be sure to drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, I have an entire playlist on Risk of Rain, so be sure to check that out for more cool videos. See ya!